Anywhere in the world you are watching this program, my name is Linda and I welcome you to Linda's TV show. If it is your first time and you like what you are seeing, kindly subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notifications. This will enable YouTube to recommend and suggest our videos to you. If you do not turn on your notification bell, you won't know when I upload a new video. Here, we react to all forms of video, especially what is happening in Nigeria and in Biafra land. I put a disclaimer that here in Linda's TV show, we do not promote misleading information, hate speech, violent or instigating war. I always seize every opportunity to appreciate YouTube for allowing us to use their platform to bring this information across.
One of the motivating factors, we have to be very open, we understand the point now, is because of economic reasons. That is the primus, that in my own opinion, that is the reason that do crisscross. If you go to United States of America, you're going to see Igbos, Yorubas, and others, like in London now, for instance. Are you telling me now that the population of Yorubas in London, they feel more like the London or UK people because they are? No, they are there because of the economic gains and whatever, the gains that they're going to get. That's the first motivating factor. So when you say Igbos are all over the place, I agree with you. But what are they doing there? Are they going there to sing song? They're going there to do business.
Is there any other person going another place?
No, there are also settlements.
Oh, so when they go there, is it their business?
It's business, that's what I'm saying. That's it. So
what kind of demonstration should we look at?
Now, it's the kind of demonstration I'm talking about. Is it demonstration like P2B is doing? P2B is not campaigning because he wants to do commerce and business. He's campaigning because he wants to be a leader of a great Nigeria of tomorrow. A Nigeria that where everybody will be proud of. So he's not doing that because of that primordial, first interest of business to go and, make some money. I was very frank. This is my own objective take, opinion as the case may be. So that's how to never take. So now let me tell you, Nnamdi Kanu'S situation, for instance. I am not an Igbo man, but every forum I've been to, I've been to, I have campaigned, I have spoken that Nnamdi Kanu be released. Years back, I remember that if I send some of my video clips to you, you're going to see where I've been agitating for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Not because it's an Igbo man, but because of the fact that the procedure for which a Nigerian citizen, was brought to trial was faulty under the rule of law. And the main problem that people don't want to talk about in Nigeria today is that if you don't ask that section 2 of the 1999 constitution, act from that constitution, we are going to be having situations of this nature in our hands, where a government can just wake up and just say the man wants to divide Nigeria, and they go after you, they arrest you. They tried that with Sunday Igboho, as case may be, but thank God he was able to, get himself out of the hook. That of Nnamdi Kanu was this: what did Buhari and his people? What did they hear the argument on? It was on section 2, whether rightly or wrongly, that he is preaching division of Nigeria. Then secondly, that he was insulting the then president. He made the matter personal, and he was not kept there. Nigeria had to spend millions of naira, if not dollars, to go and kidnap. I'm sorry, but that is the word I have to use. Open and close. To go and abduct Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya down to Nigeria, spending so enormous amount of money to even get foreign forces to help them get Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria. I don't know whether I was blindfolded. The same Buhari did the same thing to Umaru Diko when he felt that he wanted to get Umaru Diko and get at him by all means. He had to sponsor some agents, some mercenaries to go and abduct Umaru Diko and put him in a crate and brought him to Nigeria. So what kind of a president was that man? That is number one. Number two is this: the judicial system has not helped the case of Nnamdi Kanu. The Kenya Supreme Court recently voided the abduction of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria. And the same manner Nnamdi Kanu was abducted. I don't know whether they are playing the script of Turkey, because Turkey Prime Minister visited Buhari that time. Whether they are playing the script of Turkey, I don't know. The way they took Abdallah Öcalan from the same Kenya to Turkey. And he is the one who is still in detention till today. The same way they are doing to Nnamdi Kanu, as the case may be. So they have to release, in my own opinion, Nnamdi Kanu, if not through legal means, through political means. That is the only way I feel this can be resolved.
All right. Come back to the issue of rights group within the United States, asking that the issue of Nnamdi Kanu be looked at again. A few of them. Rising Sun, Advocates for Victims of Injustice and Discrimination, AVID, and also Ambassadors for Self-Determination. These are some of the rights groups based in the United States that are asking for a review of the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Let's go to Comrade Christopher Ojekere. Let me start off with you on this one. Do you think this makes any difference, really? As Nnamdi Kanu just the other day talked about how ill health is, how some illnesses are affecting him, and he feels like he's dying in custody. Do you think Nigerian government will listen to some of these rights groups, seeing that these are coming from the abroad? Do you think it will make any difference?
Well, it's a bit of a complicated issue in the sense that Nnamdi Kanu was pursuing a political agenda which was hurting the state and especially the region where he comes from, which is the southeast. However, Nnamdi Kanu has been kept in prison for longer than I think you have any law to sustain or justify. And that's why the right group went straight into what would be the solution. The solution would be that you now sit down on a round table with Nnamdi Kanu and maybe representative of the Southeast and extract some conditions that will now lead to peace and his release. I understand that there was a time he was going to be given a conditional release, and he rejected that. The truth of the matter is that all of the problems we have that with respect to ESN and so on and so forth in the Southeast, leading to loss of manpower by their, stay-at-home policy, and a lot of the killings that are going on in the forests were all initiated by his preachments against the Nigerian state. That itself has developed wings. So we cannot justify, I have never justified Nnamdi Kanu's, approach to seeking for liberation for Biafra or his people. However, you cannot correct an illegality by another illegality. He has been kept there for too long. It's not helping anybody. Nobody is going forward with the matter. Now, the only thing to do is to listen to the right groups. But as we know it in Nigeria, every president is apprehensive that if he is the president that will preside over releasing Nnamdi Kanu, he's going to take responsibility for what will happen thereafter. And that is why I said it should be a representation of people from Nnamdi Kanu extraction, that is the Southeast, who will sit down with the federal government and obtain conditions upon which Nnamdi Kanu should be released. I think the matter is long enough, and that suggestion is novel and noble.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade Christopher, for your submission. Let's get your opinion also on this particular one. Mr. Dambaki, if you can hear me. Do you think at this point in time, with the way this particular case have dragged thus far, that we're going to find maybe a lawful solution to, out of court to settle this particular case? Remember that over 50 lawmakers went to visit the president to talk about the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So many other prominent politicians have also chimed into this, and they are calling for his release and all that. Do you think we're going to see that happen? Remember that the indigenous people of Biafra, or the call for Biafra, the agitation, it did not just start with Nnamdi Kanu. It's more like now an ideology that have lingered for so long. It was even what led to the war that Nigeria experienced, Biafra War of 1967 to 1970. Help us walk around this place.
Yes, I think that it's beyond just the release of Nnamdi Kanu. It's an ideology that must be addressed. Even if you release Nnamdi Kanu and you shut him up, there are other Nnamdi Kanu's that will come up with the same issue on the table of our national discourse. I think the kinetic aspect of Biafran war has ended, but we have entered into the Cold War of it ever since the war ended. We are in a different phase that has never been addressed by the Nigerian that we live today. So I think is beyond just Kanu as an individual, and we need to disagree to agree. We need to disagree agreeably, if you want it. We as Nigerians, we have never negotiated our union, and I think that's what Nnamdi Kanu represents. It's not just the Biafra. It represents the gap in the formation of Nigeria that needs to be addressed. There are so many issues of marginalization that needs to be addressed. But for Nnamdi Kanu in particular, it is for me even a shame that someone far away from the US will have to call on us to do the right thing. There is no point keeping him for this far, for keeping him too long. I don't think he is a major threat. There are other threats that we've dealt with, and that there are other more dangerous people that you are negotiating with. Why is it difficult to also negotiate and find a way out of the Nnamdi Kanu? Somebody somewhere wants to deal with him. It's a personal thing and not a national thing.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much. Now, before we come back to the studio, I'd like to go back to Comrade Ojekere, because he said something that I'd like for us to interrogate. Comrade Ojekere, you said something like that no president is willing to take responsibility for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Two presidents now, Muhammadu Buhari and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that they are scared to take responsibility for his release because of what might happen in that region if he is released. Now, I'd like for you to tell us how much of ethnic politics has gone into his incarceration. I ask that in light of the fact that, according to what the other guests said, you are negotiating with people that have caused more damage, more harm than whatever Nnamdi Kanu did in some parts of the country, yet you find it convenient. You are not taking responsibility for all of that, but you don't want to take responsibility for the problem in the south is simply because you will be the one to have released Nnamdi Kanu. How much of ethnic politics has gone into all of this? Like the other speaker too said, that he thinks that it is something that is personal, and that is what is still keeping Nnamdi Kanu in detention. Can you help us talk about all of that? I'd like for you to, between what you said and what the other speaker said. Comrade Ojekere, the question is for you as a matter of fact.
The reasons why Peter Obi is so popular is because he's been the first Igbo man that have broken the jinx of having a national followership of the kind of magnitude that he commands, which was going to be a healing point to the bifurcation in our national politics. That opportunity is, absolutely commendable. Now, presidents upon presidents have phobia for the Southeast. The Southeast themselves have not also helped matters because they have refused to push themselves into mainstream politics, which is why I think that the Ohanese now, rightly or wrongly or pretentiously or genuinely, are trying to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now, the Southeast have not pushed themselves too much into the mainstream Nigerian policy. They've always acted as if there's elements of Biafraism in their attitude to Nigeria. So the phobia remains with people from other regions to keep the Southeast in check. And Nnamdi Kanu having exposed his ideology of an unpretentious Biafra, they think that the only way to do that, to curtail that ideology, is to keep him in prison. But that also doesn't answer all of your question, because as Solomon, sorry if I'm mistaken, Yusuf, referred to, you are negotiating with other people. You are negotiating with people from the north. Toji, for instance, who is a known terrorist and is sworn enemy of the state. You see that. In fact, I saw video clips the other day where we're beginning to honor terrorists on state functions, in state functions. So it's a political thing. It's an ethnic thing. The two people have to meet themselves halfway. The Biafrans have to come out to prove beyond every reasonable doubt that they want to be part of Nigeria. And Nigeria must open the door to allow Biafra to do that. And that's why, the enigma around Obi has been able to prove that Nigerians, the generality of Nigerians, no longer care about ethnicity or tribes. It is the status quo who want to maintain a hold over the Nigerian people that with all these political ethnic sentiments and use it as a cudgel to beat some people to place. So Nnamdi Kanu should be dealt with like a Nigerian, and negotiation should happen with the Biafran states and leaders of the Biafra states, that upon such similar condition or upon such conditions, Nnamdi Kanu will be released. Just the same way you are negotiating with the other ones who are not even talking about. Well, they will tell you that the difference is that those ones are just terrorists, but the intention of the terrorists is to Islamize the entire north and then further Islamize Nigeria. So it's also an ideology, a very dangerous one, that has political motives and intentions. So it's just one and the same thing as far as I'm concerned. We must agree to stay together as Nigerians. We must face these matters frontally. We must discuss that we'll be together and then deal with all our fears and phobias that we have against each other as members of different ethnic groups. And then we are going to produce a great Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you, Comrade, for your submission. Let's bring it to the studio now. Barrister Asim, let's get your opinion on this. Comrade Ojekere was of the opinion that the Igbos have not acted like they want to be part of Nigeria. They must show. And now the question is, do we see other tribes showing, that they must be part of Nigeria? Amalgamation happened in 1914, and we have Nigeria as a nation, as the case may be, and all that. Now, do we really need to, or does the Igbos need to show that they want to be here for them to enjoy the dividends of a nation that they contribute to?
I don't think any as we call it, ethnic nationality or group in Nigeria need to show interest to belong or be part of the nation called Nigeria. That's my opinion.
No, sorry, sorry, Barrister. I'm sorry. Don't you even think, going by what Mr. Ojekere said, that the Igbo man has demonstrated that willingness to be part of Nigeria? Okay. More than every other.
That is conversely put.
Yes.
That is for me neither here nor there. I must be very frank. Okay. I am an Igbo man. Okay. Though I'm not a popular figure in Nigeria, but I demonstrate more patriotism of being a Nigerian, as the case may be. You understand? So the yardstick on which he measured that, I cannot really say. Okay. I cannot. He has a reason. But myself, I know that all I have done in my own little way, even though I'm not recognized, is this: people come to me from diverse background, religious background. In my chambers, I don't care where you are from. I have outsiders, I have Yorubas, I have Igbos on my list of clients who are in detention that I am fighting for. I fought for some of them. One of the youngest people I released, from detention in River State, is from Imo State. I never knew him. I don't even know where he comes from. It was that day that I got to know that he is even from Imo State, as the case may be. That's me, a Nigerian. So I have demonstrated, more patriotism, zeal, enthusiasm, becoming part of Nigeria. About that, these people at the top, that you hear their name. So that's relative.
We're talking about Igbo nation. Is there? I want us to talk about demonstrating that you want to be part of this country. There is practically no community in this country that you go to, you will not find an Igbo.
The reason is commerce and economic reasons.
Breaking news! Breaking news! I am in danger of sudden death. Not me. But Nnamdi Kanu made this statement in an SOS letter from the DSS dungeon to the Nigerian Medical Association to immediately intervene to quickly respond to his health, as he believes his health is fast failing and feared the worst could happen at any moment. In a very strange, shocking, but well detailed SOS letter, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu put everything, he laid it bare on anything concerning his failing health, his concerns, his fears, and why he thinks that if nothing is done now concerning his health, he may not have long to live again, as his health is fast failing, as he can see himself, his body, giving up, succumbing to the inevitable quiet end very soon. In a letter that reads thus: Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the IPOB, has revealed the illness he is battling with in the custody of the DSS. Kanu revealed that he is battling with tinnitus and sleep deprivation, which he described as among the gravest threats to his survival. In a letter of complaints and appeal to the Nigerian Medical Association, Kanu said, "Tinnitus exacerbates my hypertension. It puts him at the risk of stroke, collapse, and sudden death." He disclosed other diseases to include liver, pancreas, kidney, bladder, prostate, and white matter disease, sleep apnea, and most critically, tinnitus, the constant internal chirping sound around his ears. The letter titled "The Danger of Tinnitus and Sleep Deprivation" reads in part, "Among the gravest threats to my survival today is tinnitus. The incessant chirping in my ears is more than a nuisance. It robs me of sleep, sometimes making rest completely impossible. It exacerbates my hypertension. It magnifies chest pain, fainting risks, and psychological strain. It undermines my body's natural capacity to heal." DSS doctors once proposed to drain fluid from my inner ear, but abandoned the plan due to the risk of permanent hearing loss. Since then, no serious effort has been made to treat this condition, even though its effects are cumulative and potentially devastating. Sleep deprivation, when combined with existing hypertension, organ strain, and potassium instability, places me in immediate danger of stroke, collapse, or sudden death. Neglect of tinnitus and sleep deprivation shows a reckless disregard for the life-threatening impact of untreated conditions. Nnamdi Kanu also accused the DSS doctor Nasiru Mohammed of falsifying his medical records despite continued hypertension. He added, "From the moment he assumed control, Dr. Nasiru Mohammed began falsifying my test results, recording normal potassium levels when in reality they were dangerously low. When challenged as to why a potassium-sparing drug like eplerenone was still prescribed if my potassium was supposedly normal, he provided no medical justification. Under his so-called care, I continued to experience frequent nosebleeds, fainting episodes, and near collapse, severe lightheadedness, unrelenting chest pain on my left side, debilitating headaches, swelling of the feet. Over 50 blood samples have been taken during my time in the DSS custody, but these have yielded no improvement in my health under the management of DSS appointed doctors." Nnamdi Kanu informed NMA that DSS subjected his longtime physician, Dr. C. Fine, to intimidation and silence. "My longtime personal physician, Dr. C. Fine, who has treated me faithfully for decades, was barred from access and intimidated into silence. This exclusion lasted until the intervention of Emeritus Professor Martin Araj, a globally respected surgeon and medical teacher. It was his timely intervention that saved me from imminent collapse," he said. Kanu also revealed that under Dr. Sifa's professional and ethical care, his potassium level rose modestly from 2.1 to 2.9 millimeter mmol/L, still below safe levels, but a clear sign of genuine medical progress. Nnamdi Kanu said, "My episode of nose bleeding, fainting and lightheadedness ceased under Dr. Sifa. Swollen feet reduced and the headaches subsided to an occasional level." In addition, Emeritus Professor Martin Alhaji confirmed and documented broader systematic health problems, including liver, pancreas, kidney, bladder, prostate, and white matter disease, sleep apnea, and most critically, tinnitus, the constant internal chipping sound in my ear that often makes sleep impossible, still persists and making my life unbearable. It is no exaggeration to say that without Emeritus Professor Martin Alhaji's intervention, my health would have deteriorated beyond recovery. Yet, instead of supporting him, the DSS has subjected him to the same pattern of intimidation used against Dr. Sifa. This is the Save Our Soul letter that Nnamdi Kanu has written to the Nigerian Medical Association, as I just read it out to you right now. This is what I have to say. First of all, I want all of you to say God forbid. Say God forbid. God forbid. Do like this. God forbid that anything will happen to Nnamdi Kanu. God forbid that Nnamdi Kanu will die. God forbid that I will one day dedicate 10 minutes silence for Nnamdi Kanu. God forbid. God forbid. God forbid. Say it loud. God forbid. God forbid. Forbid. It will never happen in Jesus' name. Amen. It will never happen. It will never happen. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. I cannot even imagine it. God forbid. Number one, Nigeria has once again proven to be a terrorist state. A country founded on terrorism that supports terrorism planted around the country. A country that does not value human life. Nigeria has once again proved to be a terrorist state. Confirmed by international bodies, stamped by the world bodies. And even recently, the US has come out to openly say it, that Nigeria is a terrorist state, terrorist sponsors. A country that has sponsors of terrorism working free in the country from the north, and nobody has arrested them. Even one person has never been arrested. Nigeria is a country that rather watches citizens die in prison, die awaiting trial, than try them in the courts. They love it, they sponsor it, exterminates you before you even are found guilty in the court. A country that kills its own citizen, Nigeria. Number two, Nigeria has every resources, every institution backed by law that can exert justice if they want to within a specified time. They have institutions that are responsible for administering justice. They have the tools. If they want to do justice today to any case, they will do it. If they want to find somebody innocent or guilty, they will do it. But why do they keep on wasting time? But they derive joy in torturing their own people. They derive joy in seeing their institutions not work. They are happy as those institutions that were created for a purpose are being corrupted. They will create an institution and they will go behind and interfere with it and corrupt it that will not be able to work. And if you are in that institution that tries to work, they will either relieve you of your duty or they will never promote you in your lifetime. You will remain stagnant. Nigeria is what happens to Nigeria. Nigeria is the weapon that is fashioning against itself. Because I know, according to history, that Nigeria has all the resources, to administer justice. Take the case of Lawrence Anini, the international thief. Listen to this. Lawrence Anini Nomayagbon was arrested on 1986 in Benin City after months of a manhunt. His trial was fast and he was convicted in 1987. He was executed in March 29, 1987. That means he was arrested on December 1986 and was executed on March. Count the amount of months. December, January, February, March. 3 months. 3 months that the wheel of justice found Anini guilty, or perhaps found him innocent if it was innocent that he was going to be. It didn't even take 6 months from the arrest down to the sentencing. So when I say it clearly here, that Nigeria has all the resources to work, I know what I'm telling you. I know what I'm telling you. It has happened before. But for Nnamdi Kanu'S case, they are gradually frustrating, destroying, killing this young man. They don't have any intention to try him in court. They don't have the intention to sentence Nnamdi Kanu. All they want to do, I will say it, they want to kill Nnamdi Kanu. That's it. Nothing else. And Nnamdi Kanu has been facing trial for 10 years. They have not even reached the end of the case. But Anini, who was a terrorist, who killed, stole, terrorized Nigeria, under 4 months, he was arrested and he was sentenced under 4 months. What are you telling me? What are you telling me? Is there any plan to try Nnamdi Kanu or sentence him? No. This is what they're waiting for. This sickness is what they have been waiting for. For the poison to start reacting. Then they are happy. It's not happening. Now they are happy. They are happy that he's asking for doctors. They are hiding, pretend. No, doctor for what? Why? When our thing is working, you want to come and save his life? When what we have been praying for since is working? Satanic. For 10 years, in the Kanu's case, there is no end in sight. Oh, there is no end in sight. There is no pathway to freeing this man. Also, number 3, I have done my fact checking, and I don't see, there is nowhere around the world where a prisoner is denied proper medical attention, even terrorists. Let me show you this. This is the Boston Marathon bomber in USA. Those I remember, in April 2013, the Boston Marathon bomber. His name is Zoka Sanaev. He was injured badly during arrest in 2013 with gunshot wounds to the face, neck, and leg. He was rushed to Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston, where he underwent multiple surgeries and days of treatment under armed guard. Only after he was stabilized medically was he transferred to prison custody and tried. Only after he was medically certified for trial was he transferred to the prison and he faced his trial. This is a terrorist. You know what he did during that marathon. He bomb blast and whatever he did that day, and he was arrested. He was shot at, but he was still given proper medical check. There is no, you cannot, help me. If they explain Nigeria to you and you understand it, that means they did not explain Nigeria to you well. This is your own citizen, you know. This marathon guy, Boston Marathon bomber, is not even part of their society like that. But this Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo man. Nigeria has Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. He is your son. He is a child of Nigeria. You arrested your own child, and you cannot even give him proper medical checkup. What Satan are you working for? What hell are you living in Nigeria? What kind of a country? No wonder the whole bushes and the whole country is filled up with terrorists and thieves and corrupt politicians that are living in mansions and killing their own people. Oh God. Nowhere around the world, in a proper democracy, even under military regime, And he wasn't even treated like this under military regime. And he was in military regime. And yet they gave him treatment. Yet he was sentenced quickly. His case was done normally. You're here telling me now the Kanu's trial, adjournment, we look at the paper and file. You cannot talk, son. Wicked. Number 4, I have gone through the Constitution of Nigeria. I have gone through the Constitution of UN. I have gone through major constitutions of the world. There is nowhere under law. There is nowhere in any society in the world. And all these constitutions say it clearly there that the job of the government is to arrest, prosecute, sentence, and correct prisoners. Correct them, and when they are corrected in the prison, they are sent back to society to even contribute to the society. That means people who are criminals are not yet condemned. They are not condemned. They are not throwaways. They can still become better tomorrow. So what you are saying now is that you are condemning Nnamdi Kanu. Do you see? You are condemning him. Whereas the job of judiciary of the government is not to condemn, it's to correct. That's what they call it, correctional center. And that is how it is around the world. People go to prison and come out and become better. Some become even, become big billionaires. Because countries don't throw away their prisoners. If you know that Nnamdi Kanu is actually a prisoner, this is exactly what you should have done. If you say he is a bad person, no problem. Let the justice have his way. At least he goes to prison and he gets rehabilitation there and comes out. Perhaps tomorrow he becomes Nigeria president. Perhaps he becomes the savior of Nigeria. Perhaps he becomes governor of his state. Perhaps he contributes his own quota to society. Yes, with his knowledge, because you believe that he's a citizen of Nigeria, and that is how it should be. But this method that you are following, it's as if that you are not interested in correcting this particular person because he's from the southeast. Let us not correct him. Let us end his life. Who gave you that power? Who gave you that power? Who gave you that power? You don't have that power. If you want to send him to correction center, that is for correction. Send him there so that he'll be corrected for many things that he said he did. Then he comes back to us a corrected man. Is not it? Simple. Why are you afraid of sending him there? Because you have another agenda. You have another motive. To the extent now that Nnamdi Kanu is sending letter by himself from DSS dungeon. Saying don't read. But we pray nothing happens to him. You don't want to correct him. This is ethnic cleansing. You are doing ethnic cleansing. Tell us why. 6 courts have given him judgment. Tell us why. Because you don't want him to go to prison. You know that if he goes to prison, definitely one day he will come out. Of course. But why don't you want him to come out? Why don't you want him to come out? Maybe, perhaps prison will correct him. This is an ethnic agenda. This is an ethnic profiling, and this is an ethnic cleansing happening in our broad daylight. Happening in the broad daylight. No wonder our mothers cannot go to farms again. Our daughters cannot go to the farm, to the stream again. And I am calling upon communities, make sure that you do not sleep with your 2 eyes closed under this Nigerian government. No, you must be wise and observant and be watchful. Use your head. Use your head. If it can happen to Nnamdi Kanu, it can happen to anybody. This is a clear message to Ndigbo. You are not needed in this country. You are not needed. And you cannot go. You can say we are not needed in the country. I can accept it. But to say that we cannot go is telling me that I am a slave. No. Why don't you go and close the airports and borders and say nobody should leave the country? That's another way. You want us to leave our land for you, but you don't want us to break away from our own country. What are you looking for in our land? What are you looking for in our land? Well, I don't want to cross this path. Nnamdi Kanu has asked for medical treatment. Nnamdi Kanu will get medical treatment. make sure Nnamdi Kanu gets proper medical treatment. It is his fundamental human right. You cannot deny him. You cannot deny him. You can't deny a prisoner, and I have proved it to you. A prisoner deserves, it is his right to get proper medical checkup. That is the truth.
Hello, my wonderful people. As you have finished watching this interesting video, please, I want to see your comment, your contribution, your opinion in the comment section. Like I said earlier, let us do it constructively. Tell me what you think about this video that you have just watched, and also about the platform. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please remember to subscribe, put on your notification bell, share this video, and remain blessed.